Hello and welcome to the Holy Hour Podcast, the bi-weekly all-cure podcast. And boy, do we have some amazing content for you guys this evening. I'm super happy to invite back to the show the one and only Andy, the Cure fan. Hello, Andy.
I say, hey there, Gavin, and the Holy Hour guys. I swear, when you say that, it reminds me of an episode of Family Feud. Every episode,
Family
without
Feud.
fail, Steve Harvey. We got a good one for you tonight.
Oh, we got a good one. This is the best one yet, I promise.
You say that every time.
Every episode, yeah. But this one in particular, because we are continuing coverage of songs or shows of A Lost World tour, Latin America style. I know everyone's been saying, where the hell are these guys? There's been like 3 shows now. Where's my Holy Hour reviews of Gavin mumbling through set list? I was holding out because I knew I wanted to talk to you, Andy. You were there, Mexico City. And boy, did it look like you had an amazing time. I think you're still glowing, actually. I can tell that you're just you seem changed. Honestly, was it a good time?
No, it was an amazing time, and to me, it was kind of, I don't know if redemption is the right word, but I had tickets. Me and my girlfriend had tickets for Mexico City in 2019, and we didn't end up going. Just a lot going on, financials, stuff like that. We had the concert tickets, but on top of that, you had to do hotels, flights, etc. It was going to cost money, so they ended up going to waste. Not to say I didn't do a lot in 2019. 2019, I know I'm going far back now. 2019, I had a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. I was there. 2019, there was Pasadena Daydream. I was there, and then we even went to Sydney for the Disintegration shows. So I can't even, complain that 2019 was like a lost year. We still did stuff. We just didn't get to do Mexico, and that one was obviously the Cure's own show, not a festival. So in a way, it was just really good to finally go to Mexico City, do it right. I saw all the fun and adventures that all the friends had back in 2019. And I just wanted to do it. A big part of wanting to do it too, however, was I had told my dad that I was going to take him to see The Cure at the Hollywood Bowl. This was well before we found out how difficult it was going to get tickets.
Yeah.
Like when it came to Hollywood, I never even got selected. The only reason I went to Hollywood is because other friends and fans got extras tickets, and I bought it off them.
Right.
Because I mean, it was a shit show. We all know, it was with the best intentions to keep the scalpers out, but a lot of fans got screwed too.
Yeah.
So, he made a big old deal like, oh, I can't believe you would tell me that you're going to take me to see The Cure and then you don't do it. And I'm like, dude, it was impossible to get tickets. I didn't even get chosen.
How awesome is that, though? Your dad's guilt tripping you about the promised Cure tickets.
I mean, he's not even a fan, but he did make a big deal about it. So, at the time, I don't know if Mexico was announced, but I pretty much said if they play Mexico, then I'll take him there. And my dad's a big, I'm Mexican as well. He is too. It's not like he was born there or anything. His parents were. But he's very prideful, very proud to be Mexican, his heritage, culture, which there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe he's a little more on the extreme side, but hey, if we're talking extremes, look at us here talking about The Cure.
Right.
So to each their own. But no, I told him, we'd go to Mexico because I know that he would really enjoy the trip as a whole, not just for The Cure. And again, he's not really a Cure fan. Going back to my origin story, he did get me into The Cure in a way because he had Staring at the Sea, but that was the only one he had. Right. He had it for In Between Days, from my understanding.
Right.
As time has passed, he's taught me or told me that Love Song is his favorite song because he associates it with me. So that's really nice.
Cool.
But yeah, no. So we planned this trip months ago. It was my 11th Cure show this year. I did 7 California, 3 New York, and now Mexico. Excellent. And dude, that is a lot for me. As much of a fan and as big as I am, I've never done that many.
Yeah. No, it's impressive.
And you see people like leaning online.
That's a whole different.
And I don't know how they do it, but I mean, respect. You
definitely got a good year of Cure seeing for sure. Inflated the stats there.
Exactly. I was at 15 shows before the year started, and now I'm at 26. So I definitely added,
almost
bit to
doubled.
that. Exactly. And the way I see it, Gavin, is I'm just trying to make up for lost time. I got into the band when I was 15. I'm 35 now, and I'm just trying to jump at whatever opportunity I can because I don't know how much longer they're going to do it, and I hate to say
Yeah.
it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and and I love traveling. Traveling's so much fun, especially when you're doing it with friends and music. And
Yeah, for
so,
sure. That's a great way to do it, if it's somewhere and just judging by the, Facebook post and stuff of your time in Mexico City, you definitely didn't just zip in, see the Cure and zip
dude,
out.
dude, it was so exhausting. I needed like a vacation from the vacation.
Right.
Every day we did like one or two things. There was no resting really.
Yeah.
I took my Apple TV to watch TV in the hotel or in the Airbnb. We
Yeah.
weren't watching TV. We were there to
Nah.
sleep and that's it. Um,
That's rad.
but the Cure played at Festival Corona Capital, sponsored by Corona Beer,
Right on.
on Sunday, November 19th. We got into Mexico City on the 15th of November, so Wednesday, and the show wasn't going to be until Sunday.
Nice.
We opted for the cheaper route. Flying out of LAX to Mexico was about almost $400, if not a little more, per
Okay.
person. And there's three of us. We found out if we flew out of Tijuana, which is like, northern Baja California or whatever, right into
Right.
Mexico, the ticket airfare was only 110. That was a big
Wow.
difference,
Yeah, yeah.
especially we're talking three people. So we did that. I mean, it was a pain in the ass. Our flight was at like 8 a.m. So we had to leave LA like at 4 to get to Tijuana at 6
Right.
and park, get a shuttle and all that. It was
Yeah.
it was a hassle, but I think it was worth the money saved.
Okay.
And this is just say, when I'm hanging out with my dad and when we're in Mexico, the drinks are flowing. So we had like shots for breakfast.
Nice. Yeah, I like that way.
Yeah,
So
stuff
that's
like that.
awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and my dad wore a Cure hoodie that I had bought for him over here at Hot Topic. It was on sale for like $20.
Sweet.
It might
So he
still
was
be, guys.
he was ready to roll from the get go then, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So it was really cool and heartwarming to see him wear it, because I got to finally share something that means so much to me with him,
Yeah.
and I hope he understood that. So yeah, we all get to the airport 6 a.m. board our flight at 8 and fly to Mexico City. With the flight time and the time zone difference, I think we got in about 3 p.m.
Okay.
Literally we hit the ground running. Richard Bellia, like a couple days earlier, announced that he was going to be there having an
Yeah.
expo or a gallery. And I mean, I'm sure you've been to these expo gallery things. Usually, the person or the curator or whatever you want to say it. Maybe I just wanted to say the word curator because they have
Yeah,
cure in it.
yeah.
But usually at these things, they're only there for like opening night.
No.
So I didn't know
Right.
if he'd be there every day. So I was like, oh man, we get in at 3. We still need to drop off our stuff, but I want to try to make it because he's gonna be there at 6. It all goes off without a hitch. We get an Uber. We head over to Richard's gallery thing. It's at some bizarro cafe or so it was a pretty interesting place. We get there. He's got a bunch of like pictures on the wall. And we're not just talking Cure. We're talking James Brown. We're talking, uh,
Right.
may have been the Clash as well. Bowie. I mean, there was a lot of
Sweet. Yeah,
significant
he's got
history. I don't know, man. This guy has a great history photographing music, and somehow the Cure has just been one that stuck with him. Uh, but yeah, he was super chill. I didn't get a chance to meet him in Hollywood when everyone else did. I was too
yeah.
busy doing my pre-party stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, that was cool. I got to meet up with Franco from Argentina. I had
Yeah.
met him at the Mountain View stop of the North American tour. He was super chill. I did an interview with him in Arusha. I was the translator, and we just kept in contact. That guy's really cool. He loves music. I think he even came in between the break of the U.S. tour in North and South America. He came to Depeche Mode in New York. I mean, this guy's everywhere.
Wow. Yeah. It's
I
awesome.
mean, yeah. So I mean, good for him. So I got to run into him at the expo, and I gotta say, I don't know, he's gonna watch this or listen to it, and obviously it's in English, but he really has a special place in my heart. It was really nice to meet a fan like that and to meet
Yeah.
other people, and that's what I love about this community. That you know, I've been doing this for as long as I've been doing this, and I'm still meeting new people every day. Shout out to
Yeah.
Chris Bub. He's
Yeah,
awesome
yeah,
too.
yeah.
I
Awesome.
see his passion. I never met Leany until this year. So it's just stuff like that.
Yeah, it's
There's
crazy.
there's always time to meet new fans and see people that pretty much are into what you're into. Um, yeah, so I like Franco was there. I met up with a friend that I've known on Facebook for years. Her name's Ivy. I don't know her last
Okay.
name, but she goes by Ivy here. We finally met in person after talking for so long. That was cool. Um, Yvonne, I met him also in Mountain View. He lives in Mexico City. I got to run into him. That was cool. And just
Mhm.
talking to Richard, and he was really nice. It's interesting. Richard's French, but he could speak English, and we're in a
Mhm.
country that doesn't speak either, so not
Right.
English or French. But it was still cool.
Everybody's
And
still, yeah.
yeah, and you know what? After that, what did we do after that? Oh, after that, we left the gallery. I took photos of Richard, took some pictures, bought some drinks, had a good time. After that, my dad wanted to hang out in the city, and he had a cousin from Mexico City that he's never met before. So they had been contacting each other, and then we decided to go out sightseeing or explore the city.
Hmm.
At this point, I was already a little bit drunk drinking,
Right on.
and I spot a karaoke spot, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"It's karaoke, let's go!" We're there for a couple hours. I mean, I do Boys Don't Cry, I do Just Like Heaven, I do some Spanish songs. I mean, we were
Yeah.
eating there, having drinks. It was to the point where the waiter, I would just
Uh,
kind of signal him, and he knew to get me another drink.
nice.
And then at
Like,
the
keep
end,
them coming.
exactly, exactly. And at the end, they didn't even charge me for the last one because I didn't realize it, but my dad had already paid the bill,
Oh,
and
well.
they said it's on the
Nice.
house.
Excellent. So
So
there
that
you
was
go.
that was super chill.
You charmed them with your tunes there. So
But
that's
but
awesome.
literally, we were up from shoot almost 4 a.m. Pacific time, and then we went to bed maybe towards 1 a.m. Central.
Wow.
So it
Yeah,
was a long ass day.
that's a long day.
And
Damn.
the
Hmm.
next day we had plans to go to the pyramids.
Right.
Mexico City is known for their pyramids. They're not really pyramids. They're technically, they explained it, they're like sacrificial temples where they used to make sacrifices to multiple gods back in the day, animal and human, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had
Oops.
a tour bus that we needed to get to by 9 a.m. So going to bed
Oof.
at 1, I mean, dude,
Yeah.
it was it sucked, but we did it.
Yeah, you
Uh
gotta see that. That's rad. I was super jealous.
yeah.
That'd be cool.
And
So
that was
was
an
that
all day excursion. We paid $60 per person to pay for this bus to take us, and then included a buffet, which was whatever, it was
yeah.
mediocre. But I mean, alone we needed to find a guide and a bus anyway.
Yeah. Were
Um,
you able to go in them or like
no, I
around?
guess they
Nah.
used to let you climb them. It's
Yeah.
literally just a bunch of stairs and stones. They
Right.
used to let you climb them, but now we just kind of just have to watch them. But it was cool. It was cool seeing the history.
Yeah, for sure.
Very vast, open, rural. And yeah, no, I thought it was great.
You probably weren't too into climbing that many stairs at that point too. So
You know
you're
what?
like, nah,
Surprisingly,
I'm
I
good.
was.
Yeah, you're ready to do
Dude,
the
they
Rocky.
were and they were steep. They were really steep.
Yeah, they like it.
Yeah, so no, I was fine. Just kind of a lot of walking and it was tiring. I mean, I think I probably put in like 14,000 steps that day. That was a lot.
Nice.
Um, and if I'm not mistaken, when we got back, okay, so we left for the pyramids like at 9 a.m. When we got back to the city, it was close to like 6:30 p.m. So again, it
Hmm.
was all day thing. Um, then we wanted to go back to the Airbnb just to take a shower, kind of refresh ourselves.
Right.
Hopefully that the water would like wake us up more and give us more energy. And then we went to this center in Mexico City called Garibaldi, which is
Hmm.
really known for mariachis, which is traditional Spanish. My dad would get super offended to use the word band.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah.
not it's not a mariachi band, it's a mariachi.
Right
Usually
on.
consists of a violin, a trumpet. Uh, Sometimes there's a big guitar called a guitarrón, a little one called a vihuela. That's just, you'll see them at weddings, you see them at a lot of places,
Yeah,
funerals.
yeah, yeah.
It's just a Mexican thing, which I think originated with the French, but there's some history there you got to look up.
Right on.
So Garibaldi is really known for mariachis. When we got there, there were statues of a lot of famous ranchera, which is a style of genre of music, ranchera
Hmm.
singers, and a lot of ranchera songwriters and composers. They actually had statues made out to them. I thought that was really cool.
Wow.
Um, but there's a restaurant there in particular that I really wanted to go to because there's this Spanish song that I grew up listening to. I mean, I grew up listening to a lot of Spanish music. It was my dad, obviously.
Hmm.
But there's a song called Me Sacaron del Tenampa, which means
Okay.
they kicked me out of El Tenampa. And he's literally singing about it. Oh, you don't know how many times I've been kicked out of this place, for being
Nice.
drunk pretty much.
Yeah,
So, I wanted to go, and I'm not saying I wanted to get shit faced, but I mean, if it
yeah.
happened, it happened, you know?
Right on.
It didn't happen, but yeah,
There
we
you go.
go. There's a mariachi. You can pay for them by the hour or by the song. We ended up doing the song. We did about 10 songs. And during the first 10 songs, we just, shouted out songs and they sang them and played them. During the first 10 songs, Franco and Yvonne were going to show up to meet up with us. I had no idea they were going to be bringing some other friends of theirs. They
Right on.
brought in a guy named Marcos, who is from Spain, and he's part of the Hispacure fan club.
Cool.
They brought Tovar,
Okay.
Rigoberto. I guess he's part of the Mexico. They're called Never Enough MX
Okay.
Mexico fan base. So that was cool. On top
Awesome.
of those two people, they brought Richard Bellia. I didn't realize Richard
Ah.
was staying at Yvonne's house.
Nice.
Yvonne had offered me to stay at his house too, but my dad wasn't comfortable with it and all that. He wanted to
Yeah.
have his own space. But like here's the thing, dude. I'm like rushing to get to his expo, thinking that's the only time I'm gonna make time to see him. And now I'm
Right now
hanging out with
you're
Richard Bellia.
just
He's seen the mariachi, he's loving it, he's looking at it. Obviously he doesn't know the language, but he just sees the passion
yeah.
and he loved it all. And he was drinking some mezcal. He was grubbing on some guacamole that I bought.
Awesome.
Um, and we just had a blast, and
That's great.
I'm trying not trying to be like starstruck or anything. I mean, I know he's just a photographer, but he's a really
Yeah.
highly esteemed
Nah.
one for the tour.
Yeah. Huge connection and puzzle piece there to the
Yeah,
whole
so
story. That's rad.
dude, I'm seriously enjoying mariachi in Mexico City with Richard Bellia sitting right
Yeah.
next to me. It was really cool.
That's what I was gonna ask if you were just throughout all these excursions and stuff, seeing scattered Cure fans and
Yeah.
T-shirts here and there and stuff. But it sounds like
Um,
you're,
in Tijuana, I did see a girl wearing a pornography shirt, and
yeah,
I asked her if she was going to the festival, and she looked at me like I was crazy, like this is my boyfriend's shirt, pretty much.
yeah. No.
I don't know.
Interesting.
But
So,
no, I did have some other Cure encounters. I'll tell you about them later. But no, this
yeah,
is cool. And
that
then
was rad.
Richard started really opening up. I'm not gonna repeat some of the stuff he told me,
Yeah.
but he's like, yeah, I shot the Cure in 1985. They used to do a sound check, and I used to be there every day. And me and the Cure, we did this together and that together. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, you've done a
Sweet.
lot with the
Yeah.
band. Yeah, so that
That's
was really
cool.
cool to hear
Was
his
he,
stories.
do you know, just to jump ahead a little to the actual show, was he at the show and taking photos or just at the
He
show?
was. I did not run into him at the show, but later I saw somebody took a photo of him taking photos
Taking,
at the show, and
uh,
I thought that was cool. I don't know if he had a press pass or anything.
yeah,
I
just,
wouldn't be surprised if he did. He did tell me though that Robert asked him the address of where the expo was. So I don't know if Robert actually ever got a chance to go.
yeah.
I don't think that would have been a good idea. He probably would have been surrounded by
Yeah.
people.
He's like, I'll go after hours.
Yeah, but the fact that he asked them about it, that was cool.
Yeah,
And
that's
that just
awesome.
shows how active their communication is today.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
so that was
Yeah.
really cool. And a part of me was like telling my dad and my girlfriend, like, he said Robert's gonna go. We should try to go
We should
back or
go back.
something.
Yeah.
But at the same
It
time,
could be
like, dude,
anywhere.
there was just no time to do anything
Too much to
extra.
do. Yeah, you can't be
Yeah.
just as
So
good a
we
chance of seeing Robert at the pyramids, probably. Just
yeah.
hello. That'd be good.
Friday we had Lucha Libre, which is Mexican
Okay.
wrestling.
Yeah.
My dad's a big wrestling fan, whether it be WWE, which I wish Chaz was here to talk about.
Yeah. Any second now, he'll pop in. Let's say,
Yeah.
let's check the radar. No, not yet.
Okay, but no, my dad's a big wrestling fan, and I grew up with it too. Mexican wrestling definitely has a different style to it. If you've never experienced it, they wear masks, and it's almost like sacred. Like they can't show their face. Like that's their secret
Yeah.
identity, and their mask means a lot. Like they'll have matches where they'll put like their mask against mask, and if you lose, you have to take your mask off, and you can see how that's like shameful. Like, oh, you don't want to lose
Uh,
the mask, right?
right.
And then a lot of that did carry over in the WWE and American wrestling because they did bring some people from Mexico to wrestle in the US, but a lot of it originated in Mexico. And apparently one of the biggest arenas to watch it at is at Arena Mexico, Arena Mexico. And it was
Okay.
huge. I couldn't even tell you the capacity, but it was pretty big.
Uh,
Um, my dad had been wanting to go there forever, so he bought VIP tickets. They were like $70 a pop US, but it was unlimited food, and again it was like finger foods, it was nothing crazy. Unlimited sodas and beer,
nice.
so it was all included. I didn't really get drunk there or anything. It was too hard to get drunk on beer. I'm noticing these days it's too bloated.
Yeah, it's like just stuffed by the end. It just
Exactly. But no, we enjoyed the shows. I think what was bothering me though is that I know we had that planned, but there was a Cure pre-party or something, Cure fan meetup. At first when I heard about it, it was just like, just a Cure fan event. Later I
Uh-huh.
found out there was tribute bands, and knowing me, I mean, I love my tribute bands,
Yeah.
right? And to say I saw a tribute band in Mexico, that would have been awesome. I mean, dude, when I saw the 40th anniversary over there in Hyde Park, I
Hmm.
saw the Cure heads the night before. So
Nice.
anywhere I can see a Cure tribute, I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
So yeah, part of me was like, can we leave these wrestling matches already so we could go?
Right.
But
These
at
are
the same
good.
time, I know my dad paid a lot for them and he wants to stay till the end. So we stayed till the end. It was me, my girlfriend, my dad, Yvonne was there, Franco was there, and then Casey was there, which I want to see. Casey's from Detroit. I could be
Okay.
wrong. But I met Casey this year on the Cure tour. So that was cool again, like we're saying, meeting new friends
Yeah, that's
along the
right.
way. So she was there. We all had a great time. At least I mean, I did. And I just kind of, like I said, was a little anxious because of the event.
Yeah.
Um, I'm surprised my dad was actually down to go. So we went to the event afterwards, and it probably was like 10 o'clock, maybe 10:30.
Hmm.
I had missed the opening band. The opening band's name was Desintegrados or Disintegrados, which is like disintegrateds.
Okay.
Obviously a play on disintegration. I didn't
Yeah.
get to catch them, but I did catch Ficción, which is the Spanish word for fiction, probably a play on Fiction Records.
Right.
And dude, they had a great set list. I mean, unfortunately, the singer needed to look up the words. Might have been a
Yeah.
language barrier, but it's fine. They had good energy. The bass player, his name's Caesar. I ended up meeting him the next day or the day after. But that guy was cool. He had one of Simon's signature guitars. I mean, they
Sick.
had a jazz master. I mean, I'm no musician,
Yeah.
but if you're a Cure fan, you recognize these small details, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So that was cool. And they played a great set list. Like, dude, they played Exploding Boy. They busted
Wow.
out with the big hand, which is my favorite, and
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't intentional.
Yeah, it was all for you. I'm sure they
I
knew
wish,
that
I
that you
wish.
were.
There are some bands like when I saw Exploding Boys out of Portland, they
Mhm.
did learn that one for me, and I really
Nice.
appreciate that. Shout out to those guys. They're no longer around, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, no, it was great, dude. They played. Did they play Figurehead also? Yeah, they played Figurehead. They played a lot of songs. It was
Nice.
really good. I tried filming them and I put some stuff on YouTube. It's weird though, when I was there, like everyone was like standing kind of far back. I mean, I'm there to enjoy the show. I'm right up in
Yeah.
front. Dude, they play Fight. I mean,
Okay.
I can't even say Fight's like my favorite song. It's a good one though,
Yeah, but
and I thought it was great. You don't hear it really.
yeah, it's good with those kind of things. Yeah, because chances of seeing a lot of those with the Cure are pretty much non-existent at
Yeah.
this point.
It was it
and
was a
and
really weird
so
venue too. It was like a school.
yeah,
And we were like on the third or fourth floor on the roof of a school.
weird.
It was weird. And then they didn't have like a bar or anything. So like there literally was like a lady selling Coronas out of a
Just
kitchen, and then there
just
was
out of
like
corner.
a little jug container of mojitos, and they pretty much
Nice,
just sold alcohol until they ran out.
nice.
Um but dude, it was really late. I think we left there like at 1 a.m. and they were
Uh-huh.
still playing. I think they were
Oh
playing Boys
wow.
Don't Cry, and just like I'm tired. We got an early
Yeah.
morning tomorrow. I can't do this. So that's Friday night,
Excellent.
right? And like I
Nice.
told you, man, we did not just one thing but two things every night. There was no room for
Yeah,
resting.
I love it. That's
Saturday, we were gonna go, or we did go to a place called Xochimilco. It's like these
mm-hmm.
man-made canals where you can go on these like boats called trajineras.
Okay.
It was really cool, very touristy. Uh, I haven't mentioned it up until this point, but traffic in Mexico City sucks.
Yeah, is
You
it?
think the traffic is bad where you live? It is way worse.
No.
Um, Sometimes to go like 6 miles will take you 2 hours.
Wow.
It was really bad, depending on the time of day, obviously.
Yeah,
And
coming from an LA guy, you definitely got some cred there on traffic complaints and stuff, you
yeah,
know. So,
totally, totally.
so,
And I guess they were celebrating something called Buen Fin, like good end. I don't know
okay.
if that's like a November holiday for them. I think November 20th or something like that. I couldn't tell you what it was. So there was a lot more people, a lot more liveliness to the city. Also, it was quincena, which translated means 15th. What that means is that they get paid on the 15th of every, 15th and the 5th or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And pretty much people got paid and they had money and they want to go spend it. So
Yeah,
the city's more lively, right?
cool.
Which was actually pretty cool because I got paid that day too. My payday was the
All
17th.
right.
I had
Yeah.
saved I had saved some money for the trip, but it was nice knowing that I had another check coming in.
Yeah, for sure. It always makes the traveling more fun when you get an extra
Yeah.
paycheck in there.
Yeah, so we went to Xochimilco on Saturday. It was a little far because of the traffic and whatnot. But we went, it was cool. You get to rent your own little boat, and then you just pay the guy like 600 pesos, which I think roughly equates to what? It was like 15 or 20 pesos to the dollar. So whatever that math it wasn't too bad. It
Yeah,
was like 35, 40 bucks an hour. And
that's cool.
you have your own private boat. It fits up to 17 people. Thankfully, it wasn't that packed. It was just me, my dad, my girlfriend, Ivan, and then we met a Cure fan named Jorge, which is George. Dude, I had been talking to George probably since I was 16, maybe
Really
17. He
awesome.
he has a Cure blog where he used
Okay.
to just upload like shows and stuff like that. And he was really chill. He used to go by Mad Bob RJS or something like that.
Okay.
And
Huh.
I'd never met him in person. And he's not on Facebook. He's not on Instagram. He's only on Twitter apparently. But nah, dude, it was so cool to meet him because
That's awesome.
I'd been talking to him forever, and I think
Were you
that's
just
the
like
beauty
mid
of it.
conversation and then it turned out it was someone you knew? Like, how did you like make the connection that it was the same guy that you knew from
I
online?
had met him the night before, after the luchas, before we got to the Cure fan event.
Okay.
But I had expressed interest to other fans, like, oh, I want to meet this guy, and
Yeah.
everybody's like, oh yeah, he's a friend.
He's
I think
ever
he's actually went to Buenos Aires and Peru just recently.
okay.
Good for him. And when I talk to these people are hardcore fans like me and you, but
Man.
they just haven't had as many opportunities to see the band as me and you. So I'm
Yeah.
talking to Jorge, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be my fifth time," and I sound like a total ass. Oh yeah, this is
Yeah,
my
like
26th.
26 times. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not what I don't mean to come
No,
off that
no, I'm
way,
sure.
but
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's just location and luck and what's going on in life, and yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah,
really is just luck of the draw. So
and
it
and
makes
and,
more
I, and I'm
sense.
I'm happy for them, of course. I'm happy that they're enjoying themselves, they're living their life, and they're following what they love. But yeah, no, so it was really chill to meet Jorge. I'm glad he was able to go on the Xochimilco trip. We literally were on that boat for about 3 hours. We brought some drinks that we bought ourselves, and we rented like a Bluetooth crappy speaker that we can play music on the boat.
Nice,
In theory, this all sounds amazing, but dude, it is so congested on these waters. There's so
right?
many boats. You're literally like bumper boats.
Yeah, that's what I was like picturing. Everyone's just bumping down real slow.
Yeah. So I mean, it was cool.
Yeah,
I probably never would do it again, but I wouldn't also
yeah,
crap on it. If you've never done it, you have to at least experience it once. We were supposed to do that way earlier, but because we had stayed up so late the night before, we had a late start. But
yeah.
at the end of the day, the timing was perfect, and I'll tell you why. After the Xochimilco trip, I decided, and I don't know, I'm treading the waters lightly here.
Right on.
Um, there was a lot of fan activity outside the Cures Hotel. I'm not
Uh-huh.
going to say where they stayed, but a lot of people knew where they were staying. I'm
Yeah.
usually not one to stalk, or, it's kind of a weird line for me.
Right.
But there was a lot of people camping out outside the hotel. So after Xochimilco, I said, hey, you know what? Maybe we should just swing by and see if there's any activity.
Yeah.
So we took an Uber, and I think it's great that we took an Uber because the actual Uber took us into their hotel like if we were a guest drop off.
Right on.
So instead of the fans waiting
Just
outside, they actually pulled in. So we walked into the hotel, acted like we belonged. We went to the restaurant or the bar that they had. We saw Simon, and
nice.
I we asked them, "Hey, do you guys have a table or can we get a drink?" Oh no, we're fully booked. And I'm like, "Okay, no problem. Can I use your restroom?" Sure, it's over here. Use the restroom, wash my hands, done everything. I get out. Simon's in the lobby talking to some other people that I'm sure are his crew. I see security looking at me,
Like,
but I
oh boy.
go, Simon, can I get a quick photo? He walks to me and he's really down to earth, really chill, very kind. I love Simon so much. I met
That's
him
awesome.
in 2009 after, or not after, before the Vegas show. It was the
Mm-hmm.
warm-up show to Coachella.
Awesome.
I wasn't even old enough to be in the casino. I was 20 years old, but he was at the casino bar and I just went in there, got a photo. He was chill then, he's chill now.
Excellent.
Um, I know that this is an audio recording, but I have a tattoo that I got of Simon as a tribute to him two
Right.
years ago. And ever since I got it, I thought of how cool would it be to actually show it to the man himself and take a photo with the matching tats. When I showed him this tattoo, Gavin, I am not kidding you. His face lit up. He smiled. You
Oh.
you can tell that it really meant something to him, and
Yeah.
I love that because meeting him meant something to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, I
That's
told
so
him, look,
rad.
I told him I saw you guys 10 times in the US. Tomorrow's my 11th time this year. I got this tattoo 2 years ago in your, tribute to you, and I just been wanting to show you.
Yeah.
And he said, thank you. It was very nice. And I couldn't even remember what he said. Dude,
right.
my voice was trembling. I didn't even sound like myself.
Hey, I got this
Yeah,
tattoo.
yeah. And I'd met him before, but
yeah,
I don't know.
no, it's
I got that way because that's how much it means to me.
yeah, it's gotta be so surreal. I mean, just
So I asked if I can get a photo and I took a selfie. But before I took it, I said, Simon, do you mind lifting your sleeve so you can show the tattoo? And
man,
he happily obliged. So
sweet.
my tattoo's cut off in the photo, but it was a quick selfie. And
Yeah, you don't
after it
be all
was
like,
done,
hold on, let me get it
yeah,
straight. And
yeah.
it's like, oh
After
god,
it was like a one shot and it worked out. It wasn't blurry or nothing.
no, it's a
Um,
great photo.
yeah, so after that was said and done, security happily escorted me off the property.
Like, please don't come back here, sir.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
fair enough.
They knew I wasn't supposed to be in there, and
yeah.
I tried mentioning this on the feed I did with Arusha, and
Uh-huh.
I'm not trying to condone stalking. Again, it was just
Yeah.
me trying to swing by, see what was up.
No,
I
that's
wasn't camped out for 8 hours all day or anything.
yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Maybe
No,
if I
I'm
had
sure
it,
he picked up on that, and you were
yeah.
being respectful and cool, and that's
Totally.
why he
And
was,
if he had said
that's
no to the photo, that would have been
yeah,
it.
then yeah,
You
totally,
know,
that's awesome.
I wasn't gonna force it or be
Was
a
there others
paparazzi.
around, kind of swarming around, or like seeing you, especially when you kind of broke?
No fans were in the hotel. The
Ah,
fans were outside the hotel.
like banging on the windows,
I guess practically. Well,
torches and shit.
I didn't find out until later, but actually Blur was staying at the same hotel.
Oh wow, jeez.
So it was a big one, and it got to the point where me and my girlfriend were looking it up. I'm not gonna say the name of the hotel,
Yeah.
but we were looking it up. Well, how much is a room there? Maybe we can rent a room for Saturday so we have a reason to be there. Dude, I shit you not, it was $1,400 US for
Uh,
Saturday. No thanks.
yeah, it's like I'm good. I got my photo. I'm good.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
no, I'm just very happy that happened. And like I
That's
said,
awesome.
I didn't camp out 8 hours for it. I wouldn't really call that stalking. It just, and like I said, if I hadn't started my day at the time I did and we, left and did all this,
Yeah, everything
you
just
know,
lined up.
it lined up.
Perfect.
What if he wasn't at dinner at that time? What if he
Yeah.
wasn't in that lobby? You know what I'm saying?
different Uber driver would have just dumped you off in the parking lot or something.
Exactly.
That's rad, man. I love
So
it.
it all worked out.
It was fate.
Yeah, it felt like that.
Very cool.
So I was still on a high after that. We ended up going to get a drink somewhere else. My dad, everybody. And I just, dude, I started crying
Yeah.
just at how awesome that experience was. And I had been trying to show that tattoo to Simon all U.S. tour, but because of the pre-parties that I've been doing, I was just so busy. I couldn't
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't have time to just roam the city and let's see who I run into. It
Right.
wasn't gonna happen. A big part of me though is very happy that I did those pre-parties because I know the band sees what the fans do, and I know Robert Smith's not gonna publicly say I
Yeah.
saw what you did, Andy, but at the same breath, I know that he's aware of our social media accounts and what our postings are, and I just want to be a really chill fan. I want to be a cool fan. I want to be respectful and also love them the way we do.
Yeah.
So no, I'm very happy that happened, and that was Saturday. Now this is like in the evening, and I can't even tell you what time. Turns out there was another Cure pre-party that night where the opening band that I missed from Friday was performing, Desintegrados.
Right.
So we went to go see them. I don't even know how much the cover was or whatever, but we Ubered there, and there was an opening band when we got there. They were like covering Depeche Mode or something, but they weren't a Depeche Mode cover band. They just happened to cover Depeche Mode that one song. Um,
Right.
and then Desintegrados comes out, and dude, these guys are amazing. I mean, not to say Ficción wasn't, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just amazing to see the energy and the passion that these Mexican fans have, performing this music that's not even in their native language.
Yeah.
It was amazing. The set list here was just as good, if not better, than the night before. I put a bunch of videos on my YouTube channel, which, by the way, I'm gonna put a little shout out to my YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Look
definitely.
me up on YouTube, Andy the Cure fan. I like posting videos of concerts I go to. I like posting karaoke videos and cover bands.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to check that out, that's going to be there.
We'll
But
put a
no, they were.
link in the thing too in the descriptions. So.
Oh, I appreciate that. That'd be great. But yeah, I did this really up close video of a Strange Day by them, and I think it was one of my favorites. But dude, this guy, I mean, this guy tries his best to look like Robert, and that's never a requirement when it comes to a tribute act. Um,
Yeah.
I almost like when they don't do it because if it comes off too cheesy or gimmicky, it's like it kind of loses it. Seems more of
Right.
like a joke. But nah, dude, this is like the Mexican Robert Smith. He has the same
Right.
body type.
Nailed it. Yeah,
They're
I've seen
probably
the
the same
pictures.
age. I mean, maybe not the same age. Maybe he's younger, but he
Yeah.
just yeah, the hair, everything, man. The size, everything was the clothing. I mean, he really pulled the part.
Nailed it.
The only thing that these two frontmen didn't do is they didn't play
Uh-huh.
guitar.
Yeah.
Had they played guitar, I think that really would have made it for me. But they were great. They were
Yeah.
really good. Um,
Awesome.
but it got to the point where we were there like an hour plus. Dude, I wanted to go back to the room. I was tired.
I bet.
And then I'm telling my dad, "Oh, we could leave after the third song because it's all loud and stuff, right?"
Yeah.
And I don't know what he's telling me. I thought he's like, "I want to leave now," but
Yeah.
nah, dude. He was telling me, "I'm having a good time. I don't want to leave," and which was cool, because I think my dad heard a lot more of The Cure on this trip than he ever had in his life.
Wow.
So I'm happy that he took to it. But after like an hour, I'm like, I'm glad you don't want to leave. I do. Let's get the hell out of here,
Let's go. It's like
Yeah.
this isn't the actual Cure. We gotta save our energy.
Well, the thing too is because the next day was going to be the festival.
Uh-huh.
I'm the one that actually wanted to get to the festival when it opened because I wanted to see Just Mustard.
Right.
So my dad's like, "Oh, I don't want to get there till like 8." I'm like, 8? I'm like, dude, if you're gonna get there at 8, ain't gonna be with me.
Right.
So like, yeah, he's
Because
got
yeah,
no
they were
problem.
starting super late too, right? Was it?
Yeah,
Or
that's
maybe it
probably the
was
latest I've
just
ever seen The Cure. Yeah.
yeah.
But like, yeah. So if he's gonna get to the festival at 8, no wonder he has no problem staying out so late. I'm tired. I need to get some rest.
Yeah.
So we end up leaving, and you know, the next morning, uh, we're just kind of resting until we have to get going to the festival. The doors were supposed to open at 2. I didn't know that though. So I got there like probably 12:40,
Okay.
and there was quite the line. There was a lot of
Yeah.
people, and we were just waiting for them to open up. Turns out they were going to open the doors at 2, so we were there about an hour, 20 minutes too early. But hey,
Mm,
better early than not. I think
right.
at the end of the day, before the gates even opened, I was like in my line, I was like the eighth person, so I wasn't too far from the gate.
Uh,
The problem is 2 o'clock turned into 2:15, and it was so annoying. Like those last 15 minutes, you're like open the damn doors already, you know?
right. Yeah.
And it's a big festival, so Just Mustard was actually playing like at the exact opposite of where I was coming in from.
No.
So I was like, crap, dude, I'm not gonna have time to run over there, or I don't want to run over there, you know?
Yeah.
Thankfully they started a little late too. I hate to say this, but I was not impressed with Just Mustard. A lot
Yeah.
of people said that they're amazing, and I could have saved myself getting there early if I would have just listened to them on Apple Music or Spotify.
Right.
But I didn't want to. I wanted my first
Going to get
experience
the
to be live, you know?
yeah.
If a band can't sell it to me live, then what good are they?
You're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good.
So and the music was okay, but the vocals were like, and this is really weird because I listen to emo music too,
Hmm.
but the
Right.
vocals are very whiny, like a whiny Bjork.
Yeah. So you ran over there for that, and then you're like,
Well, dude, not only that, but I got to the festival so early because I wanted to see them.
yeah.
I mean, not to say I didn't see other bands too. Like I saw Ladytron. I ended up
Cool.
seeing the Lumineers. Ended up seeing Noel Gallagher. That's what I love
Nice.
about festivals. There's a lot of variety in
Yeah.
bands that I probably wouldn't have paid directly to see, but I could see them there.
Right.
And
Noah
I
was
think,
on the same stage as the Cure, right? So
yeah,
was so
he
you're
was
gonna
good,
like
but I didn't know any of
yeah.
his music. But he was
Oh
good.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'm a big fan. I like his solo stuff and
Cool.
Oasis and all. But cool.
the The food was kind of weak. It was a huge ass festival though. It was at a
Yeah.
racetrack. And think of like a racetrack. You got the road, but then you also got like the dirt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They put tarps over all the dirt so you could just walk all over it. And there was just stages, there was merch booths, there was vendors. Dude, there was a lot of sponsorship. Like
Yeah.
they were advertising the Marvels movie. They were advertising Disney's Wish.
Weird.
Dude, there was so much. There was a building with like some art from a food produce vendor called La Costeña.
Okay.
It's just
That's
really
very weird.
random. Like I'm surprised
Yeah.
McDonald's wasn't there.
Right.
Yeah.
Disney needs to be like, we got to get down there and put the word on the street that we
Yeah,
got a new
exactly,
movie.
exactly. So it's a little weird. Honestly, I just still don't know how many were in attendance. I had heard initially 65,000, then later I heard 82,000, then I saw 90.
Yeah.
You wait a week, apparently a million people were there.
They just kept selling tickets. Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, that little picture that was floating around afterwards, it was friggin' bonkers looking. I mean, they always look insane when you do the far away shot of
Yeah.
everything, but
And I'm not one for being up close at a festival, or maybe not even
yeah,
being up close in general. I'm more about like enjoying the vibe and the experience. Um, I thought the food sucked. But I mean, who
yeah,
went for the food?
right,
Too much trying to be like hipster gourmet shit. It wasn't really
really,
for me. What I really didn't like is that they had a cashless system, which I think they also had in Argentina. I could be wrong.
okay,
I think I read some reports there was a cashless system, or it might have been Uruguay. No, I think it was Argentina.
hmm,
So like you had to like buy this like wristband bracelet thingy that had like a I guess NFC,
hmm,
near field communication, I think it stands for.
something
Our
like that,
phones have it and stuff like that.
yeah, right.
But you had to like literally go to a teller and give them money or pay with a card to load onto this thing.
Oh,
And
jeez,
supposedly, if you had leftover money, you can get a refund later. But I didn't even
okay,
want to. I didn't even want to do that because what if it was limited to a Mexican bank? I had no idea. I think
yeah,
I think I ended up having like $3 left over in mine, so it wasn't a big deal. But this is the way you bought merch. This is the way you bought beer. This is the way you bought food. Everything.
so you would just have to load up this card, and then that became your. Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
awful. because
So
that's
it was
like
annoying.
it totally eliminates any like spontaneous purchases or anything. It's like you have to like think of it or just
Right.
stack so much shit on your card that you know it's gonna
I
cover
probably
it.
like loaded like 3 or 4 times throughout the whole day.
Yeah,
But I mean, I get it. They want to make it easy so you're not dealing with change. They want to make it easy so the lines move. But that's why we have Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, Google Pay, all
yeah,
that,
just
you know.
credit card, your regular credit card.
Yeah,
But was the layout pretty good though? I mean, as far as like,
I there was a lot of overlapping with times.
yeah,
I think there was also a lot of overlapping with sound. So I like I said, I don't like being in the front. So I was kind of near the Ferris wheel, and you guys can pull up a map later, or you can post a map of the festival. But
right
I was
on.
near the festival Ferris wheel, which I never got on, by the way. It was free, and I guess you get a better. It was sponsored by Vans, so I guess if I was wearing Vans, which I was, I get like a special line to get in faster. I still didn't do it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love Vans though. I wish Vans
Yeah,
were the best.
right
Um,
on.
but yeah, I was by the Ferris wheel, and the reason I bring that up is that The Cure and Pet Shop Boys were playing at the same time. I caught about 30 minutes of the Pet Shop Boys, which by the way were amazing. I loved them in
Mm.
Hollywood. I loved them there. But I could still hear like, I'm listening to Alone, and then I hear Western Boys.
Oh
Western
no,
Girls, sorry,
yeah,
not
a little.
Western Boys, Girls, my bad.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, that sucks a little. Where it's just
There's a
got,
lot of bass. It was very bass heavy. But I mean, I wasn't disappointed with the set list. It was awesome. Mike Lord did a really good job. Um,
yeah.
I was texting Arusha during the festival, and I told her that I thought "And Nothing Is Forever" sounded a little off, but according to her on
Okay.
the stream, and I looked at it later, it was fine. I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe it was just a bad sound mix where I was at or something. Who knows?
Yeah, huh. Yeah, it's crazy just the spot and the way it comes through and yeah, something as we get into the actual show starting now and such too. A huge shout out to Kate on our end here. She was kind of scouring all over the internet to find a link for the stream and she did all the dirty work of what I was following anyway. I'm sure everybody had their own detective work going on, but thankful and it was a great live stream and the mix and stuff people have been raving about and I thought it was great when I was watching it. So
Yeah.
that's a question of just did I guess from the crowd perspective then of like how was everything sounding balance wise other than being a little kind of bleeding in with the other
Yeah,
stages and
like I said,
stuff.
the only one I noticed was in Nothing Is Forever. But
Uh-huh.
unfortunately, I kind of had a personal matter during the concert. I've made up with him now, but my dad got really drunk at the
Uh,
concert. And he's diabetic, so he kind of scares
uh,
me when he gets that way. Uh,
yeah.
he does that over here sometimes, but the difference over here is I could just leave him at home and he can sleep it off.
Right.
We're at a festival. I'm not leaving
Yeah,
him,
yeah.
and yeah, I really got super upset. I cussed him out. I shouldn't have done that, but at the same time, it's really meant a big deal to me. This is
Yeah.
this is the true reason we were there. I know we did everything.
Yeah.
I will say though that while I shouldn't have done it that way, it did perk him up, and he kind of came back. But then he was just really upset with me that I disrespected him, a whole nother thing. And he's not wrong, but also my feelings are valid. So
Yeah.
that was a whole personal thing, and I don't mind you put that in there.
Okay.
Just I was going through that, and we've since talked, and I'm
That's
glad
good.
that we're okay.
Good, good.
My dad, and me, we probably had a rocky relationship since I was 16. Um, I stopped being that little boy that always wants to tag along with the things that he wants to do. And I started having my own personality, started listening to The Cure, started wanting to go to the movies with my own friends, just like growing up. And you're going to experience that too with your kid.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess a part of him must have felt that I was like abandoning him or something. I don't know what he was thinking.
Hmm.
And our relationship never really was the same after that. And we didn't talk for a long time. And maybe the Cure helped me get through all that, knowing that I always
Yeah.
had them to fall back on. But we barely started talking again, Gavin, maybe 2, 3 years ago.
Yeah. Well.
So I really didn't want to mess up all that progress, but at the same time, it's like, dude, how do you come with me on this trip and then do this? Like you could have
Yeah.
You didn't do it on night one, night two, or night three. You
Right.
wait till the
For
actual
the
Cure
exact
show.
moment of when, not even while Just Mustard's playing, or it's during right when the Cure goes.
Yeah. So,
It's like, ah.
it was a big deal, to
Yeah, sorry to hear that, but glad
yeah.
that.
But you know what? And I think as a result of that, I really didn't enjoy the show as much as I wanted to. Um, we ended up leaving during the encore set. I think we were walking away when I, I think Disintegration might have been playing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and dude, we walked out from a different door or gate that we got in,
Yeah.
and it was quite the lengthy walk. Like we literally walked maybe like 15 minutes. But dude, the bootleg merch in Mexico is amazing.
Yeah, I saw those pictures you got. What did you get?
I didn't even post the t-shirts, but I got about like six t-shirts. There was like a Wish one. There was like a Disintegration one with Robert. You can tell it's from the Prayer Tour. He's wearing that black shirt. Um, what else? I mean, dude, I bought a self-titled shirt. That was cool. I bought a Corona Capital hoodie,
Mm-hmm.
and it says The Cure. I mean, a lot of cool stuff. There was a coffee mug that says Shows of a
Yeah.
Lost World. I bought
Nice.
socks.
Awesome.
I had gone with, hearing about all these bootleg vendors, and I kept telling my friends like, "Oh, I hope they have Cure socks," which thankfully I got, and TMI. But I was like, "Man, I hope they have Cure boxers." You
Yeah,
know,
why not?
you
At
know.
this point, I want one everything.
I probably would have bought a thong if they had it. Not for me, but I probably would have
Yeah,
bought one.
yeah.
Um, and then I don't know if you've ever seen a Mexican blanket or if you've heard of them. And I was like, dude, how badass would it be to me to get a Mexican blanket with a Cure on it?
Nice.
Like
Yeah.
even if it cost me $80, I was gonna do it. I was like, even if I have to buy another luggage just to bring it, I would do it. They didn't have any.
Uh,
That would have been cool.
yeah.
No, but
Dang.
I bought lanyards, I bought a bunch of stuff. It was really nice. I couldn't
Awesome.
remember how much it all cost, but obviously it has to be relatively cheap compared to the official stuff, right?
Yeah. So that's rad.
Getting out of that place is a nightmare, as one would expect.
Yeah. All of a sudden, everybody was like completely sober by the time you get back. It's like it's been so long. We've walked
Yeah,
15 miles.
it felt like that. My feet were killing me, I think, throughout the day. I'm just gonna buy new shoes. Thankfully, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I'm getting some.
Nice.
But like I literally had to like just take off my shoes at some point during the day and just start rubbing my feet. It's been so much walking, not even just
Yeah.
that whole trip.
Yeah, I bet. But yeah, I mean, as far as even though you had a lot going on and stuff, as far as the set list, even looking back on it, and I'm sure you've even watched the live streams like you'd posted and stuff. What did you
Uh,
think?
yeah, so Jorge, who like I told you, this was like his fifth time seeing the Cure. He
Uh-huh.
was really hoping that they would do it could never be the same. I'm
Yeah.
actually surprised at how often they've been doing it these
Mm-hmm.
last couple nights. So that's really good. I'm very happy for the people of those countries to hear that song.
Yeah.
Um, I think someone else commented, and I didn't even realize it. I can never say goodbye, and a fragile thing or non-existent.
Yeah, they haven't played them yet. Even
So
jumping
that's a
into the
shame.
future, we've seen a couple more shows at this point, and they're still haven't been in there yet, as far as I know. So,
Right.
um, it's just a bit of a bummer for people that have been waiting. And like you said, going back at the start of this, not only have they been waiting since over a year now of shows of a lost tour, but like most of them 10 years on since they've been in,
Those
we're all
countries.
bitching and griping in 2000 whatever, oh, it's been a year. These guys are waiting for 10 years to see any of this, so all these are pretty
Right.
clean slate as far as your hopes and stuff, so it is good perspective.
I would say that for being a festival show, it wasn't too far from what an actual show was. I know there was a lot of
Yeah.
gripes of people wanting the Cure to come by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a financial move or what the deal was, but it is what it is. They played 2.5 hours, which is like what, 15 minutes shy of a full set.
Yeah.
Ooh, and I didn't even tell you. They were
Uh-huh.
supposed to start at 10:45 p.m. They started at 10:40.
Yeah.
So you can tell that Robert was trying to really get that extra time in.
Awesome.
So I
That's
mean, the band did everything they could, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it really, like you said, doesn't vary too much, as far as what we'd been seeing from Europe into the U.S. even, and not skimping and doing and keeping it in that format. It is really cool that they are still making it shows of the Lost World, and I was kind of
Mhm.
worried initially that they were going to loop back to the 2019 set, and it would just be kind of like singles heavy and kind of the
Mhm.
go-to thing, but yeah, I'm glad everybody got to see a good taste of the shows of what we've been going through. And yeah, it was first show since Riot Fest too, so it was cool. High got in there
I was gonna
still,
say, yeah,
and
because High got added to Riot Fest, right? It wasn't on the US
right,
tour.
yeah, we didn't see that ever. And then really, Charlotte sometimes seemed to be like when people were saying was a big kind of highlight, just because on the stream anyway, you could hear the keys really good.
Yeah, yeah,
I
and
think
everybody said you
everyone's
could hear Perry more. I didn't,
yeah.
it's
I mean, a
good.
lot of those things. It's when you're especially like knowing that it's not Roger and like everyone's super hyper tuned into the keys now, every little thing. So they're like, is that different? Is that different? Trying to listen to see what Mike Lord, but yeah, you didn't hear any drastic differences in his performance versus what you've been.
Um,
Yes.
I think recently on the live stream for Argentina, I think when I was hearing Alone, I heard more piano parts than I was used to.
Yeah.
Instead of like strings. But no, yeah, he's been doing a great job. Did you see the Photoshop that Carl did, where he put Mike Lord's face and replacing Rogers?
Oh, on the like promo picture where he put it
Yeah.
on there. Yeah, yeah,
So
I
you
did
saw
see
it?
that. That was awesome. Yeah, yeah, that was
That
great.
was funny. Yeah,
I
Carl.
forgot that was.
Shout out to Carl. He does a good job.
Yes.
He's an awesome
Um,
fan.
yeah, I thought that. Yeah, just live, he's a little more hunched over, but otherwise, it seems like he's got the same vibe going,
Well,
and
lately in
he's
a
been really
couple live
digging
streams, he's
in.
been like really getting
Yeah.
into it. Like he's been taking some lessons from Chris Martin from Coldplay or something.
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
No, no, it's cool, I start thinking about these set lists and how locked in they really are. Obviously, they print them out. We
Yeah.
see Al Reeves' tech posts his photos of them. He
Mm-hmm.
usually adds those silly quotes on Reeves's. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
almost wondering, like, how locked in are these set lists? Like Argentina, and I know we're going to the future here, but
Yeah.
Argentina, that crowd was incredible from that stream. I mean,
Yeah.
in between songs, they were chanting "Ole, ole, ole,"
Yeah.
which is, I associate that with soccer, football,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know what really the origins are.
Yeah, and it
Well,
seems like
we,
they're all over with it, singing along to not just the obvious play for
right.
today, like just tonight, even everyone was chanting along to like riffs from Lullaby and stuff too, and then mixing in the Olays and stuff in between the songs. And
But dude,
it's very
like
cool.
for Argentina, like you see Robert at the end, and he's just kind of taking it all in, and you can tell that he really loved that crowd. I'm not saying
Yeah.
Mexico or any other crowd was bad, but it's like I almost felt that maybe he would have been like, "Oh, let me just play one more song for you guys,"
Yeah.
but I don't know how easy it would be for them to just deviate from that set.
I mean, you can tell even like they have those two spots now where they kind of just swap around. You know what I mean? It's always
Yeah,
like
like Kyoto
after
song
like
got thrown in
yeah,
there.
Kyoto song for that, and then usually there's some potential wiggle room in that first encore still, maybe, but like for the most part it is just kind of that they're just kind of plugging in the
Yeah.
ones here and there, and not in a bad way too. That's what I said.
And I know you're gonna hate this, but I'm still
Uh,
sticking to my guns where I don't need a forest every night.
yeah.
But I can understand how if it's missing, somebody's gonna complain.
Yeah, yeah, I know. There's definitely a few we can swap out. I'm just surprised. I would think that in the pop one in particular, they would just for their own
Oh yeah, that
sanity
hasn't changed at
just
all.
fucking swap out walk for let's go to bed even or nothing crazy. But so yeah, it is odd. I think they've just kind of really honed in on this structure of the set list for, and then there's the keyboard factor too, where I wonder if they aren't really throwing more if they were going to do that anyway, or just by having Mike Lord there, that's like, let's not throw in fucking some song that's just kind of out of, they're not going to do the spontaneous love cats on the hymn, He's like, wait, what? I just learned, 40 songs and now you're going to throw.
He seems
So
more than capable, but yeah,
I'm sure he
I see
is,
your
but yeah,
I see
yeah,
your
just
point. I
as
see your
far as
point.
the same way, like when Eden filled in, I kind of knew that that wasn't going to be the night where they drop a new fucking B-side or something,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like
That makes sense.
And the set list isn't, like, oh, here it is again. If you hadn't been like nerds like us watching every goddamn set list since Europe at this point, like as far as like shit you'd still want to see if you hadn't seen the Cure in 10 years, it's like, holy shit, these are amazing, So
They're no Depeche Mode. I almost feel like if you've seen
yeah.
Depeche Mode within the last 15 years, you've probably seen every tour
Very
sprinkle in some new stuff, and that's about
right
it.
on. Yeah.
That being
So I
said, I'm
mean,
seeing them in a few weeks, so that's not
awesome. Yeah. It still works. Yeah, it's
my
still good.
girlfriend hasn't seen them, so it's a way to take her.
Excellent.
Dude, and this is gonna be a very unpopular opinion. Burn. I
Uh-huh.
think Burn was really cool when they debuted it. I think it was a Voodoo Fest 2013.
Yeah, sounds
But
right.
it's been like every day now. And you know what? It's something. It stops having that special feeling when it's just kind of like a given.
Yeah.
And I hate, again, another unpopular opinion. I am a Cure fan, despite of what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Um,
you're in
the
the right
whole
place. This
the
is what
whole
we do.
Robert and Simon leaning on each other during
Yeah, I
Burn.
think it's
It
start
was cute the first time.
now it's
Maybe not the 50th.
starting to feel a little choreographed or something.
Yeah, dude. Come on, yeah. But yeah, no, dude. The set list I thought was great, and I really wish A Fragile Thing had come back because that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I was leaning towards by the end of the North American shows being like, oh, that's the obvious single for the new album, and now I'm kind of like, huh, maybe not if they're not even playing it, I thought that it
And
had like
and
the
and
most kind of
and then they're playing It Can Never Be the Same so much, and not to say that we either of us know what's on the final copy of the new album,
yeah.
but there was rumors that that one wasn't even going to be on it.
Yeah, yeah, it made more sense that it wouldn't be, and now it's like, well, now you gotta do with something with it, make it a B
Right.
side maybe at least or something. But
I'd say a deluxe edition, but we saw what happened with 414 Scream and
yeah,
426 Dream, whatever he
I,
called it back then.
even I can't with a straight face start like talking about B sides, the songs on songs of a lost world, and the outtakes and the
Yeah.
deluxe edition. It's like let's
Hell,
just get the
it's gonna
actual
come out
version.
for Record Store Day 2052.
Yeah, it's coming. Just counting it down. But no, I
Yeah,
think with the set list stuff, it always gets a little tough when you just know that the next song's coming. Even if they take the same songs and shuffle up the order, that's always a little more refreshing than when you go, it's this song, and then you know exactly what's coming right after it, which is still fine. And if you're at the show, it's fucking awesome. It's only for if you're watching the set list slowly unveiled on the
yeah,
setlist.fm where I'm like, oh, come on, really? Why can't I be you? But like, same time, it's, it is cool when they can shuffle it around. But, who knows?
yeah.
There's still a few more, and yeah, I guess so. Real quick, as your adventures continued after the show, even your flight home.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that. So we leave the concert, we get back to the Airbnb around maybe like 1:15 in the morning. Our
Uh,
flight thankfully is at 3 p.m. But we gotta get there, checked out, make sure we pack everything. We got to the airport and I'm like trying to be a nerd. I'm like, let me see all the flights that are flying from Mexico City to Lima, Peru. There's a website for that, by the way, guys.
uh,
Flightaware.com, where you can actually put your origin city and your destination city, and it'll actually
mhm.
tell you all the flights. So if you ever need to take the guesswork out of that,
Nice.
flightaware.com. So I saw there was a couple flights to Peru, and then I saw the next day there was one. Well, my flight to Tijuana ended up getting delayed, which sucks
Mhm.
because not only were we going to fly into Tijuana, but we still had to drive across the border, which could take an hour plus, and
Yeah,
we still had to drive another 2 hours. So, any delays at that point suck.
yeah.
But as we were walking around the terminal, we were looking at a restaurant, and there's like a band. I see a guitar and like in a case, and I'm like, oh, cool. And then I look, and I told my dad, I'm like, Dad, do you know how Terry Nunn of Berlin looks? And then he looks, and he goes, yeah, it's her. I'm like, awesome, because we didn't actually get to catch Berlin the night before. It was a weird overlap. It was like a faraway stage. Pet Shop Boys
Yeah.
was on. So, we didn't stop Terry at the restaurant, but we were waiting at our gate, and she walked by, and I'm like, Terry, I'm sorry to ask, but can we get a quick photo? And you can tell like she kind of didn't want to, but
Yeah.
she kind of also didn't want to be bad mouthed on the internet for being a bitch. Not that she is, not that she is.
Right.
So I feel like she kind of gave me like a pity photo.
It's like fine,
Um,
man.
yeah, but no, dude, she looked tired. She looked tired. So
Yeah.
I do appreciate the time she took to do that. That was cool. And then I'm just waiting at this gate for Peru, and it's thankfully it's actually right across from where my rescheduled gate, my delayed gate is. And I didn't even think about it, but Yvonne was gonna go to Peru. So he ends up being the first person I meet at that gate. I'm
Awesome.
like, yeah, not quite the cure, but it's cool. I'll take it.
Yeah, man. See a good
So, which
familiar
which was great
smiling
because
face.
I didn't get to run into him at the festival, so I didn't really properly say goodbye.
Yeah,
So
that's
that was
nice.
nice. And then Franco ends up showing up, and that was cool. But at this point, now it's getting time for our plane to board, so we have to line up. As we're lining up, Jeremy and Eden start walking to that gate,
Uh,
and I'm like, son of a bitch,
damn
that's cool.
it.
The crew's there.
Yeah.
And for anybody listening, hopefully you know who Jeremy is. Jeremy is Robert's guitar tech. Eden is Simon's son and bass tech. Um, and they have this running gag joke where they say, are you ready for a gig?
Yeah.
So from like across the airport, I'm like, Eden, you ready for a gig? And he looks at me and he just like, yeah, like you're so funny,
Yeah. Awesome.
But they look tired as well. I mean, dude, if the concert ended at 1:15 in the morning, how
Yeah,
much
geez.
later would it have ended for the people packing up and doing all that?
Yeah,
So I
clearing
get
out.
I get it.
Yeah, I was exhausted from the live stream. I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be a rough morning. I gotta crawl across the house to the bed now." And I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah, dude,
it's like,
totally.
jeez.
Um,
So then you got home eventually, and any
Eventually,
other adventures along the way?
um, no, I saw Cure tribute band on Friday, and then yesterday, my favorites, The Curse.
Yeah,
Shout out to them out of LA. Friday was cool. They played a swap meet locally. They did 3 1-hour sets.
sweet.
Last night they did such a great set, a pornography set. Unfortunately, I got too drunk at the show, ended up rushing the stage. I don't remember the concert, and it
Did
is what it
security
is.
have to pull you off like a?
I heard I got tackled by the sound guy. I don't know.
Oh no. Well, I'm sure they appreciate your enthusiasm, and it all goes full circle, right? Your Cure love started with those guys, so it's
Yeah, yeah, they're there.
a pretty.
I saw them well before I even saw the Cure. So yeah, and the first time I saw them, they did like a 32 song set. So I mean, think about that.
Yeah, pretty awesome. I love it, man. Wow, it's been a wild ride, and like I said before we started, I love just watching your posts and your youthful enthusiasm
Yeah.
as all this unfolds. Where I'm like, good God, man, I'd been like pretty much done after the fact you went to any show after getting back from this trip is amazing. I would have just called out for the next month and icing my knees and but
Oh, dude, and I
it's
went to
it's
work the next
admirable.
day too. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a trooper, man, and I love it. I love seeing just your passion for it, and getting out there, making the most of life. So, from this old man's perspective, cheers to
Totally.
you.
Thank you. And it's crazy too. Like, when I was there and I'm leaving, everybody's like, "Are you going to Peru or are you going to
Yeah,
Argentina?" Dude,
yeah.
today, Chris, Bub, he goes, "Are you going to Bogota?" And I'm like, "No, dude, no." I mean, like, I thought I held a hell of a year. I don't know how some of these people do it. I mean,
Yeah, it's never enough, right?
either they got some money saved up, or they're throwing themselves in debt, or a mix of both. But I got to start paying off everything I've spent this year.
Yeah, still paying off New York and the West Coast shows, and I'm sure there's people still paying off the European tour. So,
Yeah.
well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know, like we said, the adventure had been continuing pretty nonstop, so you need to rest up and get yourself some recovery time for sure. But I really appreciate you walking through this
Dude.
and letting us live through you and all your adventures. I'm glad that it was successful and you got back safe and everything's cool with you and your dad and your girlfriend. She's still
Yeah.
down. She's cool. She's she's like
Oh,
never
dude,
again.
I woke up
So sick of
today
the
and
Cure.
no. Thankfully, she's good. I don't
That's
know
good.
if I told you we were in New York and her
Uh,
favorite band was playing on the Friday. after the 3 Madison Square Garden
Oh
shows.
yeah. That
So
was crazy.
our flight had actually been delayed and ultimately canceled, and we were going to leave the next day, and it kind of all just worked out for her.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We
That
did
was
we did
very
we
cool.
did 4 nights at the Garden, so I try to include her fandomness when I can. She's very supportive. She's a trooper. Obviously she's gotten into the Cure more with me than anybody else, but that's usually the case.
Yeah, that was great. I think you had told me that you were gonna see the show, but I didn't realize till a little later that it was at MSG again. So I was like, oh my god, 4 nights in a row, like fucking Billy Joel over here. He's never
Yeah, and it's very nice to share, my vacation and due to the internet signal sucked in Mexico. I mean, I had signal, but it was not meant for like streaming or uploading. So
Yeah,
that kind of was a bummer. So now we're following Lini. She's going to be going to Chile next, I think, on the 30th. But yeah, I mean, it's great to follow our adventures. When we can't be there, we kind of use the internet and social medias as a way to bring us all together.
yeah, works out great, man. So
And I appreciate being on this podcast with you. I always have fun when we do it, and I'm very supportive of you guys, and I thank you for welcoming me back.
yeah, anytime, and you have a wonderful holiday out there, and stay safe. We'll be in touch. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Gavin.
All right, again, a very special thank you to Andy, the Cure fan. As always, a pleasure to talk to that guy, and I love a good detailed stroll back through a wonderful experience. So I really appreciate him taking a minute out of his busy schedule to pause and share with us. Please be sure to check out his YouTube page that he had mentioned, at Andy the Cure fan on YouTube. Lots of great video clips on there. And since we have a few minutes here before this becomes an overly long episode, let's take a minute to glance back over all the shows that have happened so far and how they are looking on paper anyway. To date, The Cure have played 4 of the 8 Latin America shows, so we are about halfway through at this point. 2 festival shows and 2 full-on Cure shows. But like we said, there really doesn't seem to be much of a difference between them at all. So anybody that's going to any of the upcoming 4 shows, you can rest assured that you're pretty much going to get the same full set length and structure that we've been seeing. To recap, beyond the Mexico City show, we had Lima, Peru on Wednesday, the 22nd. Last I saw, there was a full live stream of that show on YouTube. It's a handheld one from the crowd, but surprisingly solid still. And they played 29 songs there. Kyoto Song was the most notable rotationed one, and At Night is proving to be a constant throughout all 4 shows. Charlotte Sometimes was moved to the encore, the first encore, making it a 5-song encore that night. And then on Sunday, November 25th, was the Primavera Sound Festival, Buenos Aires, Argentina. We are still hoping to talk to Jorge after the tour concludes, since he was at this show and will be at the finale in Colombia. But for now, there's another professionally shot show streaming of that Argentina show, and it's on YouTube. I highly recommend you go check it out. It's courtesy of Javier Contreras. And I'll put links to all these in our Facebook thread and in the details section of the YouTube post. So try to track those down. They're very good. And the crowd seems off the charts for this one in particular. As Andy noted, everyone was really getting into it. And it's funny because when you have these soundboard footage live streams, a lot of the crowd noise gets kind of filtered out. Like in the Mexico City one, and it almost sounded like they were being super quiet or something. But then you see the camera kind of pan around, and you clearly see everybody losing their fucking minds, jumping up and down, and being anything but timid. So another interesting point I forgot to mention with Andy is how until these Mexico City show and Argentina professional live streams that we're seeing, I don't think we've had any professional shot mixes or footage or live streams of any of the shows of a Lost World tour so far. I don't think we had any in Europe, and I don't think there were any through North America. So it's kind of odd seeing it like that now, especially these new songs. And I think we all kind of got used to either being at the fucking shows or watching them on somebody's cell phone stream on Instagram Live or later on YouTube even. So seeing the cameras actually cutting around into different members and getting close-ups and huge crowd shots and stuff, and more for the sound really though, the instruments are actually being mixed in and balanced. It gives the performance a whole new feel, and I think that's partially why we were all so blown away by that initial Mexico City live stream and its sound, because it just sounded so good and cool to hear. I think just the new songs in particular were really blowing us all away because we had been just hearing them on basically cell phone footage for so long at this point. Plus, of course the band was just playing their asses off, so it sounded great. But very cool to have these professionally shot ones out there in the world. And anyway, Argentina got a very similar set list of Mexico City, but sadly was missing Charlotte sometimes in this one. And somehow the Reeves solo near the end of End Song really seemed extra badass on the Argentina live stream. So definitely check that one out. Watch it real carefully. It's all structurally the same and everything that he normally does, but I don't know. It just seemed to have a little extra stink on the ball, as the old expression goes. And that gold Les Paul almost seemed to be smoking by the end of that song. He was just really fucking tearing it up. So very cool. Check it out. I highly recommend it. Lastly, Uruguay show was Monday night, right before we started talking. Actually, I think it concluded right before Indy and I started talking on Monday night, November 27th. And got to check out the set list a little closer afterwards. But we got Last Day of Summer for the first time in the Latin American tour leg. It was in the place of And Nothing Is Forever, though, which feels slightly odd now hearing Love Song all on its own, because those two songs have become such little lovely pairing together. And so yeah, that was in the place of it, followed by Burn, of course, which according to setlist.fm though had a snippet of I Started a Joke by the Bee Gees at the end. I didn't catch the live stream that Leanie was putting up till the first encore, so I can't personally vouch for this one, but we'll take their word for it. But a little Bee Gees snippet, perhaps? Sure, why not? And speaking of Encore 1, when I joined in, that was also changed up a bit. We didn't get It Can Never Be the Same or Want on this one, even though they were on the initial typed up set list, but for some reason they were scribbled out, and instead it kicked off with Cold, which is another Latin America debut, and followed by Charlotte Sometimes, then closed out with the regular Plain Song and Disintegration combo. Again, based on Leanie's live stream, and thanks again, Leanie, by the way, the crowd seemed to be going fucking bonkers during this set, with excitement, of course, and no signs of lame audience anywhere in any of these shows. So, as we predicted, South America is just living up to the expectations of an amazing audience. Sadly, still no Fragile Thing or I Can Never Say Goodbye in any of the sets, and then losing And Nothing Is Forever last show. Hopefully that was just for one night though, because we don't want to see these new songs starting to slip away. So I get a little worried about that, but hopefully they're all in there still, and could drop any minute now. And finally, before I let you go, the posters actually are still going strong, and awesome that they're continuing that. And you can get the cards and the t-shirts and the posters and everything throughout. All four of these so far have been really rad posters, I feel like. My favorite's the Mexico City one with Robert's eye and the phases of the moon over the pyramids. But for all of them, they look very cool, and hopefully they won't take 6 months to get to anyone that orders them. Santiago, Chile is up next on Thursday. Then we got the home stretch of Brazil on Sunday and the Colombian finale on December 10th. So, should have some more mini reviews coming up soon, hopefully faster on those. I'll try to throw them out as they come up. and sprinkle in our last couple official episodes of the year too. So stay tuned, lots to look forward to as we wind down 2023, this magical cure year. But let's officially wind down this episode. What do you say? And can't do that without a quick shout out to our Patreon. So check out patreon.com/The Holy Hour Podcast. See if you want to join in on our Patreon and be in the Cool Kids Club, along with Donna, Craig, Jeff Hilton, Jeff Cortland Jones, Sue, Ben, John, Alan, Allison, Dion, Amicio, Matt, Danny, Coulter, Matt Ford, Tom Johnson, Tom Burns, Letty, John Roberts, Francisco, Jason, Craig Bellinger, Amber, Nicholas. And congrats to Nicholas and his family for the new baby that was born just the other day. Congrats, she is adorable. Hope everything's going smoothly and everyone's getting sleep. Be sure to play her many Cure songs as often and regularly as possible. It's never too early to start. So we would also like to continue to thank you, Jessica, and our newest members, Arno and Tanya. Yes, Tanya is not only a new member of the Patreon, but a prestigious Holy Hand Grenade member, which means that the stickers and mix CD that I just sent off today, by the way, apologies for the delay because of Turkey Day, but she also gets to curate a full episode of the show. Luckily, she's going soft on us and wants to just talk about the new upcoming Curapedia book. So we look forward to having her on as a guest in the new year. Give us a little bit of time to absorb this new book coming out. But she's also adding a great cause and company to our shout out list, 988lifeline.org, where she is also a crisis counselor. It's a suicide and crisis hotline that she also helped get up and running. They've got 200 crisis call centers located all over the country. It's a 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and your loved ones, and best practices for professionals in the U.S. 988lifeline.org. You can call or chat online there. So if you or anyone you know is in need, especially during this time of year, please check it out. And welcome, Tanya. Thank you. And of course, our regular old faithful buddies out there, like Tim at New Waterloo, who owns and operates 5 super cozy hotels scattered all across the United States. You can find them at South Congress Hotel in Austin, Texas, the Waymore's Guest House in Nashville, Tennessee, the Revival in Baltimore, El Capitan in Merced, California, and the Albert in Fredericksburg, Texas, coming in 2024. Scott Kruger, you all know and love. He's over there at Sarlacc Digest, helping run the best Star Wars podcast in the inner or outer rims, really. So check them out every Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube, or catch the replays anywhere you listen to podcasts. They deliver the finest in theory crafting and are the perfect outlet for any level Star Wars nerdery that you want to pursue. Dana was in the chat at the Mexico City live stream, and she's also an extremely talented motion designer and animator, to be honest. So check out her work at graphics.tv. That's graphics with an X.tv. And if you need some animation to promote your business or project, she is available. So reach out and see what Dana can do to make your project that much cooler. And while we are talking art, Kate over at CureThreads.com is debuting her new awesome artwork that is inspired by Ensong. If you haven't seen it yet on Instagram, do yourself a favor and go check it out and pick up some lovely original Cure-inspired art and gifts this holiday season at CureThreads.com. And if you find yourself up north and you need a drink, join Lisa over at Dickens. It's the coolest nightclub in Calgary. DickensYYC.com will tell you all the upcoming shows and events there. Just like old Club Nevermore down south, that's in Little Rock, Arkansas. And if Jessica can vouch for it and all its goth glory, then you know it's got to be pretty rad. So visit clubnevermore.com for a full listing of all upcoming events. And finally, if you're in need of a new podcast, well, go check out Chaz's other podcast, the Excommunication Station, where he, Donovan, and Chrissy dive into what it was like growing up in the church. Find it anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And as for us, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of these upcoming episodes or tour updates. I'm going to be flinging some episodes out like pancakes soon, so in the next few weeks you got to stay in the loop and just subscribe. Make it easy. All the official Holy Hour business will be posted on our Instagram at the Holy Hour Podcast, so follow us there. And don't forget all the extra tidbits that Andy and I want to share with you pertaining to this episode over at our Facebook page. As always, feel free to email me at gavinconner@gmail.com if you have any questions or comments. So until next time, thanks again to Andy, thanks again to you guys, and if you've made it all the way through these announcements, you are the absolute bee's knees. So catch you soon, talk hard.
Thank you.